Patrick Reusse, Unchained. What's going on today, sir?
I am. I just was roaming around, not paying any attention. I remember the British Open was on. Brian Harmon, who won it 2 years ago,
Hmm.
is is now leading or tied for the lead. That would really defy the great glorious history of the British Open if Brian Harmon becomes a two-time winner, wouldn't it? I mean, he's a good player, but he shouldn't be a two-time winner of the British Open. Come on, somebody pass him. Although Scotty's one out, he's seven under. But I watched a little bit yesterday, and the wind was howling. But today it's kind of calm, so they're shooting lower numbers. It's that golf over there is just the goofiest thing. It's all weather.
Yeah.
If the weather's nice, they're going to kill the place. If the weather's howling, the time I covered it, Tiger was in the middle of his greatness, and he might have won them all that year if it hadn't been the British Open. And I think he was tied for the lead on Friday. And Saturday morning, the guys went out and it was Bluebird. It was like today. And they went out, and all of a sudden, you looked out over the water, the Firth of Forth. You looked out over, and this cloud was just this black, massive thing. And that thing blew in, and the wind was blowing 40, and the rain was coming sideways, and they just kept on playing. They had a par three up at like I think it was the fourth hole. It was up at the end of the course and up there. And in the morning, the rain was. In the morning, they were hitting like 8 irons, in the 8, 9 irons. In the afternoon, they were trying to hit drivers, and they couldn't get it there because the wind was so high. So it's 80% of it is what's the weather when you're playing, not it's not, let's say, how is the weather today? And the answer is always what time of day because but I heard him talking yesterday, and the temperature the Brit guy that's on the Golf Channel all the time,
Yeah.
and he was saying it's going to be in the low 70s tomorrow. That's pretty high up here for this time of year. But what is incredible, gentlemen, is how far north it is. That it's last night I was watching. It was 9:15 there. Not a could have been noon. Could have been noon here. It was
Right.
not a hint of of nighttime coming up at 9:15 in Scotland. So they can play all night. That's the thing of I don't think like every other golf course has to use two tees. I don't. I think they all tee off at number one because they can play all day. So
Right.
anyway, it's an interesting event. But if they charged you to play these golf courses in this country, you wouldn't play them.
No,
Because they're
that's right.
just they're just weeds and rocks and big holes in the ground and stuff like that. But it's over there. It's the glory of God. Although the year I was there was at Muirfield, and they actually were like proudly of their chauvinism there. Women couldn't play the course, and they ended up having to change the rules and to get back in the circuit. But the women were allowed in the pro shop one day a year to go Christmas shopping for their husbands, like on December
God. Are you
20th.
serious?
No, I'm serious. Yes,
Wow.
it was an old right wing men's club, and they were all and they also had a famous the captain, they called him the captain of the guy who runs the club basically. And you could come and pay your $200 guest fee or whatever it was back then, but he would come down and watch you on the first tee. And if you didn't hit it good enough, boom, you're off the course.
Wow.
Or he'd say 9 holes. You
Yeah.
only
Yeah.
get to play nine
Yeah.
holes.
9 today.
I gotta look up what that guy's name was because I wrote about it once. It's this pompous ass that loved to, Americans started coming over there 30 years ago to play, and they charge him this outrageous fee, and if you didn't hit it down the middle on number one, about 220, you got to play 9 holes. So
Pat, did you hear the newest additions for the 3M Open? Rickie, Fowler, and Adam Scott are coming here next week to
Oh,
play.
good. Scott's playing okay. He's kind of having a comeback good, so that's good. And Rickie just, Rickie had that little brief spat about a year or two ago where he played decent again for about 2 months, but yeah. And you know what? Now that he's in his 40s, those wacky clothes don't quite, it just doesn't have the same appeal as it used to have, does it? He just looks like kind of an old guy trying to keep on to his crowd. But he was always a good guy. Everybody loves him. He's a nice guy, I guess.
He had the epic meltdown there, right? 3 years ago at 3M Open.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
I think he carded an 8 or a 9 on 16 or so. He was in the lead and then he melted down.
Was that Finau beat him? Is that when Finau did?
I think that's when Finau took it. Yeah.
Won it. Yeah.
Yes.
So, they they don't get they get a lot better field than some of the tournaments that are played at this time of year with all the majors. But considering that the British Open is this week, and you got to come back from that to play, they do okay. They get a decent field, and I think they got the concert back again. They got a country. Concert.
Lee Bryce.
And was he somewhere else here around? Has he become our official country guy or something? Did I see something about?
No, he's been on top 40 country for the better part of the last 10 to 15 years. He hasn't. I don't know when the last time he's been here. I wouldn't say he's Minnesota's guy though, by any means. No.
Okay. Well, anyway, it starts. Hollis has got all kinds of pro-ams, and then not like the pro-ams, though. When they had the seniors, there were 2 days of pro-ams. There's only, with the big boys, there's only one of those, I think, or they only have to play 1 day or something like that. But anyway, it's here this week. The Vikings training camp is opening, and there's a lot of crazy stuff going. And the state fair, ladies and gentlemen, is only 5 weeks away.
Woo.
September 1st is Labor Day.
We're going to be there again. We're going back.
Makes me want to vomit.
You joining us? You joining us for a little state fair action?
How often are you going?
We're there at each of the weekdays, so Thursday, Friday.
But not on
weekends.
Yeah, and not on the 1st. So we're not there for
Labor Day.
So correct. You're there
7
Thursday,
days.
Friday, and then the next time. Well, that's, and what do you do? How many hours? Do an hour?
3.
Really?
2 to 3. We'll do our shows. So, I mean, I guess throughout the course of that, 3 hours of time, but, 2 hours or so of content. Yeah.
Well, I usually come out on, we'll come out and do Monday Night Sports Talk, won't we? We'll do that. So, okay.
I don't know.
Is your old partner going out there at all? I don't know about that one. He's not. He goes. I think last year they went every day. I don't know. They're not. Still do it. No, it's going to be the Score North Purple Daily booth. You better check with your partner. I think he might be retired from the state fair. Boy, that would be something because that was his the big event, man. So, okay, I'll check with him. But you're welcome to come on and join us. Except he's in La Crosse for a car show today, so I can't ask him today. So, all right, what's going on in La Crosse? Car show? I don't know what the car show is, but. Either you guys ever get into that, like going out and looking at old cars? Like the muscle cars or the old... Doesn't do anything for you?
No, it does nothing for me. Ironically, I used to work at the fairgrounds at the Ballpark Cafe when, like, the auto show and Back to the 50s, right? Back to the 50s used to come to the fairgrounds, and that was, kind of our preliminary state fair trial run. But no, muscle cars do nothing for me.
You know what? The other thing is, Back to the 50 cars don't excite you much when your first car was from the 50s. It's the Studebaker. My Aunt Peggy's 1954 Chevy that I bought for $100. I got 3 years out of that thing, man. That was fantastic. I missed the races, though, Pat. I do, too. Stock car, right? Yes, and, way back in the 50s and maybe into the 60s, they had it every day. The stock car, really? The grandstand was basically there for the stock car races. And then, because when
I've
I
seen
was
the
a kid,
photos. Yeah.
we'd always come up once a year. My old man was a big fair, but with my old man, it wasn't the food festival it is now, But with him, you had to, before you could go to the rides and all that stuff, you had to go through all the barns. That was,
Oh,
you had to do the penance of the barns. I don't know. We lived in farm country. We could have driven out to Joe Miller's farm and saw all the same pigs and cows and stuff we saw there, but we had to go through the sheep farm and the barn and everything. We always had to go through the barns. But it is incredible to me. I don't know how I got off on this tangent. That this thing is more popular than it's ever been.
oh
It's
yeah.
incredible. The crowds are incredible.
But like you said, it's a
Unbelievable.
food festival now.
Yeah, it is. It is.
That's what it's become.
Yes, and an expensive food festival. Not what it used to be, man.
Uh huh.
And the old man used to give you $10, $20, and he'd say, "Hey, man, we're going to be here for life. We're going to be unbelievable."
I can't get my head around the fact that at the state fair, beer is expensive. That's my biggest gripe.
No,
Bring the price
yeah,
of beer. Give me a good, $4 beer, okay?
yes, yes. That's
These
it.
prices.
I tell you that you know I always the best thing about sobriety, A, I'm still alive, but B, I couldn't afford to drink. Who could afford to? How can you afford to drink? I can't afford it. I couldn't afford to drink. And have other occupations. So anyway, fighting twinks.
Yes.
We get to go to Colorado. You got to win 2 out of 3 out there, else we'll demean you. And then they go to the Dodgers, and the home schedule pretty much stinks the rest of the way, but the road schedule is a little tough a few times. So I don't know. They had that nice homestand as far as crowds were concerned, so that kind of
Yeah.
picked them up in attendance a little bit. But when I looked before the last 3 home games, they were 25th in attendance. They were only ahead of Miami, the Whiteys, Tampa, the Athletics, and then Pittsburgh, which is a god
Yeah.
awful baseball town when Skeens doesn't pitch. So, what do you? We haven't discussed fully the All-Star game, but I see that you know. So I thought maybe they were just picking guys. Supposedly they had to give them a list before the game, but they had to go ask everybody so the manager had to go ask everybody before the game, "Are you going to be here or not?" But
Right.
but who's? I mean, okay, so if Cal Riley was still there,
Yeah.
but you can't have him sit for an hour and a half and then go ask him to what are we going to do? Have BP before we have the swing off? I mean, that's
So
this.
Alonso went actually before when it was, I think it was tied or
And
the
went to
American
the
League was threatening
cage.
to. He went in the cage, but he also had been playing. Like, this is my question: is how do you decide? I still don't get the last guy for the American League from Tampa. What was it?
Yeah,
Uh, Around
Aranda.
11 home runs. That's the
Yeah,
one I didn't get because Alonso didn't
apparently.
go, but he would have gone last, and that makes sense for the National League.
Yeah, but Aranda they must have had very few volunteers
Right.
in the very. First of all, you got to tell them. But wouldn't have Buxton been available?
He was. Yes, he
I
would
wondered,
have.
did they ask him? I
I
wonder if
don't
they asked
know.
him. Oh, nobody,
I
nobody
thought it was
knows if
made
they
up
asked.
on the fly until I saw
I
what you
did
saw.
too. Yeah, and but it certainly did not work out the way major when they were thinking about this deeply in the office 2 or 3 years ago. Oh, this will be fantastic. I'm sure they were thinking we'll have Judge and Otani playing for the title without thinking those guys are leaving the game in the 4th inning. Even if they don't fly out of here, they're not going to go up and hit when they haven't played unless you do get him to go in the cage. I don't know. It's a stupid thing to. Here's a better idea. Maybe not exciting, but tell some pitcher before the game, you're my guy. You might not pitch, but if we go extra innings, you're the guy, and you're on the All-Star game, and that's that.
Jonah
There's
Bride.
10 or 11 pitchers, and Joe Ryan. Tell Joe Ryan before the game,
Hey,
hey
Mike.
Joe, congratulations, but if we go to 10, I need 2 innings out of you if we go to 10. So,
That ain't happening.
well, then
We're not getting that. I
why
bet
don't
baseball
we?
loves this.
I think we should just. You think so? The ratings were bad.
Yeah, I saw they.
Ratings went down again.
But the swing off got a lot of attention. So I think they like the
Yeah,
swing off. Not the game
but
necessarily, but the swing off.
stupid. It's not the swing off if you don't have your good players swinging.
Hey.
You know who's supposed to, who must be a hell of a guy though is Alonso. He's all in on everything, right?
Yep.
I mean, he's ready. Let's go.
He's
I think
fun,
he's
man.
looking for attention. He's but that's fine. He's he's willing to do anything. So I admire him greatly compared to the rest. Otani is. He was long gone, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I think Judge Otani. Now Cal Raleigh stayed, but I think he was in street clothes by then.
Yes. Well, they should have maybe had a hint the Judge wasn't going to be in the hitting contest when he did his post-game interview in street clothes. He was dressed when he did his post-game interview. So
Yes.
anyway, it's a far cry from 1965 when the National League had, I think, 5 guys play 9. Willie and Henry, I think, both played 9.
Wow.
And Ernie Banks, I think, played 9. I think 5 of them played 9.
Jeez.
So it was. I mean, they wanted to win. They say, they all stayed around and watched. They wanted to win. Yeah, they jumped up. Although I will say, the worst one I ever covered was the one in Oakland that went 15 before we got a run. Remember that one? Wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
15 innings, we got a run. And I had never been to Candlestick in the summer, right? And experienced the old line that who was the gal at their old line? The coldest winter I ever spent was
summer in Kansas City.
Summer in San Francisco.
San Francisco.
Summer in
Yeah.
San Francisco.
Ichiro was the other one.
So Chris was with me. My son was with me. We stayed to Thursday to go to a game at Candlestick. It worked out perfect. It was like 40 degrees and howling rain, stuff blowing over, and there's about 8,000 people there and garbage flying all over the place. It was the perfect Candlestick time. You see that, and then you really admire Willie Mays for hitting 600 home runs. So.
Pat, and then we have Luke Keeschall and Ober in playing for St. Paul and Louisville tonight, so they're getting closer to return.
Good. Yep. Keeschall was what? Ober, we just kind of invented something, right?
Yeah, he went on the IL, I think, for technically his hip that he acknowledged 4 starts before that he was having problems with before his ERA was 9 for the month of June.
They just had to shut him down. That's he couldn't keep pitching like that. So
right.
So what do you think? Do you think that it's 50% of him the way he's throwing the ball, but I think 50% of it is don't swing at those pitches you were swinging. Don't swing it. If it's a slider, don't swing at it.
Yeah.
Make him, because it's not going to be a strike. If you see it's a breaking ball, don't swing at it because it's going to end up in the other. And so then he's down to change up fastball. And I think part of it is adjustment of the hitters.
Yeah.
And part of it is him just not being as sharp. But that's quite a contrast when, what was it, 9 starts and he only gave up more than 1 run once or something like that. And then all of a sudden you can't get anybody out. So it's weird to say the people. But if you get him and Zebby back,
yep,
and then, Keeschall, you can get Keeschall in and who's gone? Who's gone when Keeschall comes back?
I think they'll swap out Kersey. That's the easier one.
Yeah.
That's not hard.
But Rocco loves Kersey.
He does.
Loves him. You know, he still went on about the play he made in right field for like 10 minutes about the other day because they got to somehow explain his presence because he's hitting 110 or something. But yeah, I would imagine that's it. So anyway.
All right, sir. We will talk to you again on Monday, okay?
All right. Have a good weekend.
See you, Patrick.
See ya.
All right, Reusse Unchained, Score North.